everyone, this is Mrs. Bierman. In this video, we are going to be working on solving equations with one step. We're going to start with addition and subtraction, and we're going to finish with multiplication and division. So our goal when solving an equation is to isolate our variable and solve for the answer or the value that makes the equation true when we plug it back in for the variable. Now, the reason that I'm showing you the addition property of equality and the subtraction property of equality, because it shows us equivalent equations. So for instance, if I look at the very first one, the addition property, A equals B, or if A equals B, then A plus C equals B plus C. Now, why this is important for us is that it shows us equivalent equations. And why this matters is we have to be able to use inverse operations in order to undo an addition or a subtraction that is happening with an unknown variable in order to isolate that variable. So let's look at this first example. I have x minus 3 equals negative 5. Now my goal is to get the variable all by itself. And to do that, I'm going to use inverse operations to essentially cancel out the negative 3. So the opposite operation. In other words, what undoes subtraction is addition. So to get my variable all by itself, I am now going to add 3 to both sides of my equation. And then I simplify. On the left-hand side, I have just my variable, because negative 3 plus 3 is a value of 0. Then on the right-hand side, I have negative 5 plus 3. Well, when I simplify that, I end up with a solution of negative 2. Now I have to check my answer. So I'm going to take this value of negative 2 and I'm going to plug it in for x and simplify to check my work. Well, negative 2 minus 3 does simplify to negative 5. And last time I checked, negative 5 does in fact equal negative 5. So I have checked my answer. So now I can move forward and box my solution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that some of you looked at this initial equation of x minus 3 equals negative 5 and you instantly knew the answer because you either used some super brain power to figure out what that answer is. However, in algebra, we have to be able to justify or support our solutions. So that's why you're going to see myself and Ms. Scarple write all of our steps down. You have to be able to prove to us that you understand algebraically how to solve that problem. And that's going to become a more important later on in your mathematical career at East High School or whatever high school you're going to go to. So let's try one more. Let's try part B. Part B, I have 0.9 equals y plus 2.8. So to isolate my y, I need to do the opposite operation of addition or the inverse. So I am going to subtract both sides of my equation by 2.8. So remember, we want to be whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do the second side because we want to keep it balanced. So 0.9 minus 2.8 gives me negative 1.9. And again, I want to double check my answers. I want to make sure, I want to confirm I've done this correctly. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. 0.9 equals negative 1.9 plus 2.8. And when I add negative 1.9 to 2.8, I do in fact get 0.9.